everyone. One of the most unpredictable NFL seasons in recent memory is finished. COVID impacted rosters combined with exceptional parity meant the NFL saw plenty of upsets and close games in 2021. You know, there were a record 34 games decided on the final play. And for those who did not make the playoffs, heads are rolling tonight in the coaching ranks. And for the 14 teams who made the playoffs, it's a fresh start, a chance to reset. Everyone has a shot to make a run at the most prestigious title in all of team sports, the NFL champion. Welcome, everybody, to the January 11th Father, Son, and Holy Sport Weekly Podcast. What's up, T?
What's going on, G-Man? Exciting weekend of sports. Was fun being in Vegas, betting on those. Oh, my God, what a wild, wild weekend.
All right. Yeah, playing some of those NFL games out there, huh, where it's legal.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, all right. You like my background? Guess who that is behind me in the yellow?
I'm trying to figure it out. You know, who you got?
Hey, man, that's Cooper Kupp, my man. That's Cooper Kupp up at his home in Washington State with his brothers. That's his little sister right there. Two brothers and a little sister. Cooper Kupp, man, the little man who went to Eastern Washington and just balled out at Eastern Washington, set a bunch of FCS records. That was him back in high school.
All right.
Hey, I thought you enjoyed that. We're going to be talking about NFL MVPs. I thought you would enjoy that. Hey, let's kick things off for the January 11th edition of the Ross Rundown. It's a special segment of the Father, Son, and Holy Sport Weekly Podcast, brought to you by our friends at Woundwise IQ. Hey, y'all, do us a favor, press the like and subscribe. We appreciate your support. Hey, T-Money, kicking this thing off. Want to go to Daniel Carlson's 47-yard field goal as time expired. Vegas upsets and beats the Chargers and move into the postseason. Was that the best game of the year, T-Money?
Oh, my God, what a roller coaster. I think it had to be the game of the year purely because of everything that was on the line as well. I mean, no one thought the Colts would lose, and now these two can actually kneel the clock out the entire game and tie. If one wins, the Steelers go. If another wins, the Ravens, if they beat the Steelers, they go. And, the seeding impacts of everything. And now this person's playing that person. I mean, it was just crazy. All the impacts of this game and the fact that Chargers were down a bunch. They come storming back. They're going for it on fourth downs. Then the Chargers call a timeout in overtime when they don't need to, which forces the Raiders to kick a field goal. I mean, it was just craziness constantly. So it was just such a fun game to watch. I think it's got to be the game of the year.
It was the first playoff game of the year. It was the play-in game. You had to win to get in. And man, is that going to create some animosity between those two teams? I know they said they didn't mean to, do it. But man, they eliminated their rival.
Yeah, it's a division rival.
Bad blood there, man, after that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Hey, if it was me playing the Steelers, I would want to kick the field goal, too. I don't want them in the playoffs. So,
yeah, and that's what they did. Just drove the stake in the heart of the Chargers.
Yep, and with an interim coach, good for the Chargers, good for Derek Carr. I was in the city. It was a big win. The city was buzzing. Oh, man, what a wild, wild game.
T-Money, just lighten up Las Vegas, man. I wish I could have seen you in action, man. The Raiders travel to Cincinnati for the first game on Saturday, 4:30. Cincinnati favored by 6, but those Raiders just keep on overcoming everybody's doubts.
Yep, we'll see. Cincinnati won pretty handily in the regular season. I think it was 33-12. So I have faith, but not going to get cocky here because it's Joe Burrow's first playoff game. So we'll see. But let's move on to someone who, had an interesting game. The Niners win to get in versus the Rams. It was a crazy game. They go play the Cowboys now in the playoffs after that win. Jimmy G had a wild, interesting game, ends up being perfect at the end there to get him in the playoffs. But what do you think? You trust Jimmy G at all in these playoffs like the past, or how do you see this going? I mean, that was an interesting game. He played horrible. Then he played great. I don't know. Do you trust Jimmy G?
I think that was the longest question I think we've ever asked on the Ross Rundown.
Fair point.
Hey, man,
trying to lead the
there's
witness.
no way. I don't trust Jimmy G to hang with the offensive power of the Dallas Cowboys. He's not going to be able to stay with them, man. He cannot keep up the point total. The Cowboys just scored 50 plus points for the second time in 3 weeks. So all the Dallas has to do is shut down Debo, and it's all over, man. Debo Samuel's just running that offense and doing everything for the 49ers. Awesome guy, man. Awesome Debo, but you know they're going to game plan to stop him. And if they do, thing's over, man.
Yeah, it's all about Debo. I totally agree with you because this Niners defense has been good enough to stop a lot of offenses. I don't think, like you said, they're going to be able to stop the Cowboys. And Jimmy G can't make mistakes like he's been. He was horrible for 3.5 quarters. Debo Samuel had the best touchdown throw of the first 3 quarters, and he's a receiver. So, I mean, like you said, he runs that offense. He's the wide receiver. He's the quarterback now. He's the running back half the time. I mean, put the guy on defense. He is that entire team. I don't trust Jimmy G at all to get past these Cowboys. It's going to be an interesting one.
That Cowboys play the 49ers Sunday at 4:30. Cowboys favored by 3. It's the highest over-under of the weekend, over-under 51. Hey, let's go back to the AFC T-Money. Let's talk about one of the disappointments of the AFC. What happened to the Colts this year, man?
Wow. I don't know what to say here. I'm honestly in shock. This one, I not only lost money on, so I hate the Colts even more. But, I mean, look, I don't think they had a disappointing season. I think after this game, the season was disappointing. The end, I mean, you go to the worst team in the league, and you just get mollywopped. I mean, they look like the second coming of Pittsburgh Steelers steel curtain. They look like the 85 Bears defense. Trevor Lawrence having his best game of the year versus vaunted Colts defense. I mean, this is a win and you're in situation versus the worst team in the league who won and still got the number 1 pick because they're that bad. This is so embarrassing. I'd be firing every assistant coach I had if I was Frank Reich because I'd be nervous I was going to get fired. This roster was going to it was shocking. I mean, honestly, so embarrassing. And screw them for not even getting me close to winning any money too.
And the AFC, Pittsburgh slips into the playoffs. They get in, and there's 3 teams at 9-8 that miss the playoffs. The Colts, the Dolphins, and the Chargers all missed the playoffs at 9-8. Going to be a cold season for them, man.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's just so embarrassing. That's all I can really say there. You don't have your first round pick. You gave that up getting Carson Wentz now. I mean,
I told you Carson Wentz was not the answer.
Horrible decision.
I told you that last year, that Carson Wentz was not the answer.
Hey, he almost got to the playoffs, and he proved why he shouldn't be. So
Reich said, Reich is too soft, man. He's saying you got to trust your quarterback. Okay, fine, that's great. You can have that philosophy, but you also have to manage your team.
Yeah,
you got to manage your team and win. You can't just trust your quarterback. You got to do it with the quarterback, but you got to be aggressive. You got to find ways. You got to be creative. Get Jonathan Taylor out in the open, man. Loosen him up. They're running them up over the center every time.
Yeah.
Be creative like San Fran is with Debo.
Yep. I totally agree with you there. Just an embarrassing day. So speaking of Jonathan Taylor, though, I know you love that guy. Let's transition here to the league MVP. We got a few favorites around. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers are the favorites to win. But who really should be your league MVP here, Gary?
Well, Aaron Rodgers minus 500 in Vegas is the favorite. Tom Brady plus 400 is number 2. Supposedly between those 2 quarterbacks, typically a quarterback award, a receiver has never won the award. But my pick is Cooper Kupp, a receiver. Why so low on the odds? Because he's a receiver. But you look at what he's done, T-Money. He leads the league in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. And his numbers in all 3 of those categories are some of the best in the history of the NFL. He has caught 75% of his targets. This guy is a ruthless blocker. Have you seen him block? 6'2", 208, leading blocking for those LA running backs. The guy has no weakness. He's a team leader. He deserves the MVP. That's my vote, man.
All right.
The guy behind me, the little guy behind me in the yellow.
All right. Well, real quickly, I'm just going to say he said all those stats because it was a 17-game season. He didn't set any sort of benchmark record-setting season stats through 16 games, and he still barely did through 17. So not even the best.
He led the league in all three of those categories.
That's fine. That's fine. I just think that it's not that.
Catches 75% of his targets. He catches.
Yeah, Michael Thomas had a year where he caught 99%. So, I mean, there's other. Look, he's great, but it's like giving, like Devontae Adams is better than him. DeAndre Hopkins is better than him. He can't get.
Hold on. Now that is not true.
Like
that is not true.
But
let's take Cooper Kupp off of that team. They don't win.
I think if they had
There's nobody that can do what he does.
Be pretty close.
We're talking about MVP.
So let me transition to my MVP. Okay. Because this guy started the year thinking they were going to get the number one pick again. Okay. He wasn't Aaron Rodgers coming in, trying to make another NFC championship with another great roster. He wasn't Tom Brady off a Super Bowl with another great roster trying to get back to the Super Bowl. No, this guy was supposed to be on one of the worst teams in the league. And he takes them to a division title when they were the fourth preseason favorite in their division. And that
I know who the guy
is. Mr. Joe Burrow. That's Joe Burrow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow didn't have to play the last week of the season because they had already clinched the playoff spot for the AFC North. Okay. He takes a ragtag group of guys. His best receiver's a rookie. His running back hasn't had a 1,000-yard season in a year or two. The offensive line is one of the worst in the leagues. The defense can't cover anyone. They gave it the most pass yards in the league last year. He takes his team to the playoffs.
Well, I'm not going to argue with that, but keep in mind that you asked me the question. I didn't ask you the question. Okay. Let's move on to what is your Super Bowl prediction? Okay.
All right.
Mr. Talkative. Let's see what you got here, my man. Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I got the Chiefs over the Packers. That is who I know. It's easy. It's the favorites. I know, but I really don't trust any other teams than those two right now.
Team money riding chalk.
I'm going chalk, man. I just think every other team seems to be bad or have roller coaster seasons or flaws. And I just trust those two teams, and those two quarterbacks are the best two in their conferences. And I'm going chalk, man. Going chalk.
Yeah. Well, hey, before the season, I said Tampa Bay, Kansas City in the final. I still can stick with that, but I'm going to give you a little flavor on that. I do think Green Bay is going out. I don't think Green Bay makes it in. You know that 7 of the last 9 Super Bowl champions won their last regular season game, and Green Bay did not.
Well,
so that tells me Tampa Bay or Dallas goes into that NFC.
You can't count that because Rodgers played a quarter.
Okay, I'm just giving you the facts.
Did he win his last full game he started?
No, it's not. It's the team. Okay, Tampa Bay or Dallas. I would tell me. I think Dallas could.
All right, is that your prediction?
Dallas and Tampa Bay are going to have to play each other before they play Green Bay.
So the winner of that is going to go.
I think the winner of that's in. And then on the other side, I think it's Kansas City, Cincinnati in the title game.
All right. Hey, I'll take it, baby.
Cincinnati, man.
Come on.
Yeah.
With the league MVP on their team. Hey, well, let's move to one last question I got for you here, G. We had 4 coaches fired this past weekend, and now we have 6 openings. Six openings.
Actually, 7 openings.
Oh, I apologize. 7 openings. You're right. 7 openings. So we got the Bears, we got the Broncos, we got the Dolphins, Giants, Jags, Raiders, and Vikings.
Yeah.
Which is the best opening for a coach if you were an NFL head coach?
Well, if I had to pick out of those teams, I like the Bears. They got tradition. They've got prestige. They've got typically a winning program. They've won the Super Bowl. I just think the Bears would be a great place to be as a coach, very dedicated to the team, and the city is behind the team. I picked the Bears out of that group.
Okay.
Who would you pick?
I'm a little torn here. I think if you're going to win in this league, you need one thing, and it's going to be that the reason that 5 out of the 7 here have been fired is because they didn't have a quarterback. That's how you win in this league, when you have an elite quarterback. Right now, Trevor Lawrence is the best young quarterback on this group right now. Maybe Justin Fields.
That's debatable. I think Fields has proven
I'm just saying. So I like those two because of that.
Okay.
But Derek Carr's the best quarterback on this list, and they just made the playoffs. You're walking into a ready-made team, a little tweak here or there, a little better coaching here and there. This could be an 11-12 win team.
I don't know.
And they could be fighting. Derek Carr's not an old guy. I don't even know if he's 30 yet, maybe 31 tops. I'll take Derek Carr in the brand new stadium in Las Vegas. If you could get yourself maybe a few better draft picks, their GM's been pretty poor. Mike Mayock hasn't hit on any of his first rounders lately. Other than that, I got to go Raiders just because of what they've done this year. Making the playoffs, you're walking into a team that's made the playoffs. I mean, how many coaches get to say that? So I have to go with the Raiders here.
It is interesting. Giants just announced tonight. We're recording this on Tuesday. The judge is out. So it's interesting to see when some of these teams, the GM is out with the coach. Other teams like Miami, the general manager stayed and the coach is out. So some of these are, we're going to see what plays out with the GM, and then the coach will follow. Hey, we hope you love the new Ross Rundown, a special segment brought to you by Father, Son, and Holy Sport. If you're interested in being a guest on the Ross Rundown segment, reach out to us. The show is sponsored by Woundwise IQ. It's a patented mobile analytics software app that automatically measures and analyzes chronic and surgical wounds. It's used by leading physicians and nurses caring for people with wounds to document healing progress. Just download the app from the App Store. You're ready to go. Learn more at woundwiseiq.com. Hey, if you love the show like we love you, press the like and subscribe, and look for some of our other shows and segment clips where you play your podcast. Look for us at Father Son, at Holy Sport, or check out our new website. You can find all of our shows and even buy merchandise at FatherSonandHolySport.com. T-Money, have fun this weekend watching the first round of the playoffs, baby.
All right. You too, man. See ya.